Alright everyone, we're back from yet another crash. Should be solo orbiter, yeah? Yeah. Okay, let's go and reconnect.
What happened?
As usual, it crashed. As usual, it crashed. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Delta Flyer is over by me. Somewhere.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, he's on quite often. I usually don't talk to him, though, since he's always in chat.
Yeah, he doesn't like using the microphone, and makes it almost impossible for me to talk to him.
Yep.
Okay, so... But he's a good guy to have along if you're doing a raid on Thargoids. We could raid the Thargoids, but you'd have to come back a considerable distance back towards this part of the galaxy, since they're 30 years outside of Sol.
Yeah.
It's like both groups of them are headed towards Sol now. It doesn't look like they're bothering with Akinar anymore. But they never quite make it.
Well, if you want to demoralize the humans, destroy their home world.
Yeah, but that'll just piss everyone off, and it's... Especially with this many colonies now set up, mankind is almost completely invulnerable.
Well, you can't destroy the humanity when they're spread out like this.
No, I mean there's
Sure be a pain in the ass.
There's 6.6 trillion human beings in this galaxy, and they're spread across, you know, hundreds of star systems, so... The odds of actually... I mean, they occupy a relatively tiny fraction of the galaxy, but there's still so many of them that getting rid of them all is pretty difficult. I mean, they've literally spread into the galaxy like a plague. And as I was just reading to you from the accidental extinction report at tourist spot 0170 in the Delta Pavonis system. Okay, I've laid in a course for the Altair system. We have our cargo now hold with some Pavonis ear grubs. I don't think this is very lucrative, this approach. There's just not enough. There's not enough rare goods to fill my cargo hold enough to. Plus, you have to travel to like a bunch of different star systems to get all the goods together. So this is not proving to be as lucrative as it had looked on the surface.
So if I want to attract pirates, I should have something with really good value on my ship.
Jumping to Altair. We'll visit this other place and see how many. I've never been here before to collect rare goods, so I'm looking for a place to get rare goods where the numbers add up, but I don't think I'm going to find it.
No, usually the rare goods, from what I've seen, they're in small quantities. Can't get large quantities and make long-term trade runs with it.
Yeah, except Sagittarius Eye led me to believe that there was supposed to be more there in Delta Pavonis than there was. And I think what they were doing is they were making a report for some of the smaller, more junior elite players.
Yeah, small people are starting out to get small ships. You can only hold 50 units or something. Then yeah.
Well, that's what I did with my. That's what I did with my Cobra Mark III initially, right? I'd fill up the Cobra Mark III with rare goods. You can only take like a maximum. Oh shit! Now I'm being interdicted. It's an Alliance Chieftain.
Do you need help?
Oh no. I'll look after this one on my own.
Fighter bay, stand by.
The fool's attacking me.
Fighter deployed. I'm here if you need.
3 ships have already arrived.
Hey, Alex, are you ready to go? Yes, I'm going to see.
There's that 40, 30.
Where are your
27 and falling. Holy shit, that new class 4 upgrade that I got cut him in half.
Scanning for more threats.
Tore him right to pieces. He had no chance.
Your class 4 cannon or laser or what?
Yeah, but I upgraded it to max it out. It's now like listed as max damage overcharged weapon, and it's a class 4 engineering upgrade, which is the maximum I can get for it right now. So it's done.
Yeah, I've got that long range shit going on in all my weapons. It seems like for the turreted weapons,
Yeah.
having the long range on them is pointless because they don't fire unless they're within 4,000 meters.
Yeah. Well.
So only on gimbaled or fixed weapons that you manually control is it worth having the long range. But at that point in time, without enough of them, it ain't worth it.
Yeah.
We were talking just now. We were talking earlier too.
Commencing recovery, Commander. Stand by.
I've already recalled my fighter.
Hold on a second, I got good. Everyone's yapping about.
Okay.
Automated retrieval complete, Commander.
Cargo scoop retracted. Collector limit expired. Cannot comply. Comply. Cargo scoop deployed. Cargo scoop retracted. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 17.
still there?
Landing gear deployed.
Touchdown sequence complete. You may disembark when ready. Station facilities are at your disposal, Commander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Give me my keys.
So, how's your life going?
They want to go to Arts in the Park, a little thing that happens every Father's Day down here.
Oh,
But I don't want to go quite yet. I want to wait a few hours to go out there.
well, it's Father's Day. They should wait. This is shot cannon turded. Or is this the part where you figure out that you actually, on Father's Day, it's really about what you can do for your family? Turreted. Okay, so we need... raw.
Say what?
Hang on, I'm writing down something here. We need 32 Canadian. $32 tungsten. And then we need 30 rhenium. Have you ever seen rhenium in an asteroid?
I don't remember, possibly.
And we need 28 technician. And 8 power transfer buses, which I've never seen before in my life. And then there's the meta-alloy hull reinforcement. You can get that too, I guess. Oh! You can corrosion resist larger cargo racks. By the looks of it. But I don't know how big that goes. Meta-alloy hull reinforcement.
Can look like that. Next question. Find your use of language.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
And you need 28 meta-alloys. Holy shit. Where the hell do you get 28 meta-alloys from? "30 focus crystals.
Sorry, Chicago. I have to go. I'll finish this conversation when I return.
26 aberrant shield pattern analysis.
Decisions have been wise. You're asking. Absolutely fine. Thank you. I'm not finished. Taking up residence in the heart. I have discovered that I can look into distant worlds. See and hear the things you cannot see.
And 12 reinforced, 20 configurable components. And 12 reinforced mounting plates. This looks bloody impossible.
50% complete ship. Stand by for that. Adam?
No enemy ships detected. They're likely coming through. Number 4, approximately 5, 6, unknown configuration. Moving toward us on attack vector.
Copy, initiate jump.
Not until the jump engines can recharge.
We have no choice. Alert all ships. Prepare to attack.
Like, this list, this shopping list is stuff that you need. For the shock cannon, I need 30 rhenium, 28 technetium, and 8 power transfer buses. That's what I'm short. I've got the vanadium and the tungsten already.
That's to upgrade one of your weapons?
Yeah, well, it's to get access to the shock cannon. So that would allow me to buy a shock cannon, basically. And I'd like to at least see what the shock cannon does. This is a human technology broker. I don't think it's hybrid technology. I think it's just human. The Guardian stuff, like, is even more expensive than that. I mean, it's just stupid how much shit that you need to buy. Well, that was something else. When I came into the base here, I noticed that there was an attack underway. It seems that an anaconda had drifted into the starbases near its front door and started attacking ships that were coming out. And it was an NPC craft. What the hell is a remote flechette launcher? This doesn't make any sense. What is this? Remote release flechette launcher. Remote. The remote release flechette launcher is a remote release launcher that can be unlocked with Tech Broker. Shares similarities with remote release flak launcher. Holding down the weapon, the fire will launch a dumbfire missile directly ahead. And then within range, the indicator will flash red to alert the player to release and detonate the missile, exploding it in a ball of metallic shards.
Captain, you must return at once. They will need you. It's time you introduce him to the others. Please, Captain, hold out. I will be here if you need.
Well, this seems pretty useless. The most noteworthy aspect of this weapon is its interaction with shields. It will bounce off an active shield without detonating, but the weapon is still active. Releasing the fire button in close proximity to a shielded target will cause the target to receive hull and module damage, as well as inflicting the hull breach debuff. It has 100% chance per hit at max and minimum integrity to cause a hull break, increasing damage dealt to the modules of a target vessel from all other weapons. Damage type is kinetic. It is 80 armor piercing at class 2. then you have to purchase it at Teller Ring. And the next question is, where the hell is rhenium to be found? Rhenium, grade very common. Regularly found when extracting ores from asteroids. Rhenium is used in combustion chambers like turbine blades and exhaust systems. So it's found in asteroids, basically, and not on planet surface, which is why I don't see it that often. So I have to go to an asteroid field and mine it, and I'll get lots of rhenium.
Well, rhenium's one of them that's on the rare side.
That's the guy in the
And it says here its grade is very common. It's rare on Earth, but in asteroids it's very common. So you have to go to a metallic or a rock asteroid field. And then you get 28 of them.
Where's my phone?
No, I need 30 of them, actually.
Okay, I'm gonna go AFK. I gotta figure out where my phone went, so.
Okay. Okay, so back. Variant 6. You've got to be kidding me. ship that's one of the larger ones.
makeshift drive charging.
I'm back.
Yes, you are. I need about 50 prospector limpets. There's a planet here with rings that go out quite far in the Zaihi system. And Zaihi 1 appears to be some kind of gas giant, possibly a brown dwarf. Looks like categorized as a brown dwarf. I'm being attacked by a eagle, the FNS Crooked Saber. It's just a Federation fleet ship, so I will evade it. I'm carrying contraband, so I don't want to be scanned right now. I'm fairly close to a base as well. Where the hell is the base? Ah, there it is. Zen Dock. Oh! Someone's closing on me here. The human? Stand by. Class is a Diamondback Explorer. It's going by the name Bearcat Wilkinson. I'm not sure if he's going to try interdicting me or not.
Sequence activated. We've got a ship coming in. Signature frequency. Orlon Trent.
That's reporting up. Hello, Sheridan.
Sheridan.
Captain, I got something for you.
Sure you don't want me to waste time. I'll take care of it.
He has jumped away.
What are you doing?
I'll find out what his wake form is. Anaconda. Class is a Federal Navy ship.
I won't actually. Besides the Babylon 5, I didn't know the Orlon had any captain.
Force 23 disruptive mass.
I've been for when we're finished.
And I lost my lock on what's his name. And someone has started a lawnmower close by.
Yes, the ball. The ball. My name is Sebastian. I reside at
There is a lot of traffic outside this base.
Now, by the border, taken, transported, and brought to death. And they have called upon me now for this interrogation. You will allow me to finish the work that brought me here, or you will let me? I have told you all that I know. We're getting around weapons use that home. I have been on this station long enough to serve the
And they did it again. Someone's attacked me outside of the station. I'm in the no-fire zone. Auto dock now in progress. Four humans are logged into this station right now. They're part of a wing of some sort. There's cobras and... Wow.
Manifolds are made. You can remove them at any time, but if you do so, you admit failure and defeat, and will stand before the Vorlon as inactive. Do you understand? Unacceptable answer. I already know your name. Who are you? Penalty will be issued. Who are you?
I just sent a text message to Bearcat Wilkerson, who's flying a Diamondback Explorer. I just warned him, saying, if you're going to attack me in that little thing, you're going to commit suicide. There's no way that a Diamondback is taking on an Anaconda. At least not one armed like this one is. But he seems kind of belligerent. I'm not sure what he's about. But with all these players here, I can't get any product out of the system. I just purchased 10 biomorphic companions. There's supposed to be at least 30 here, according to the web page I found. Apparently he's part of the faction that runs this system. And he just threatened to bring himself and a number of his friends in to come and conquer me. Like, well, I don't think you're going to do that near a starport, and I'm just going to jump out of the system, so good luck.
Another player making threats?
Yeah. But I don't know, see, I don't know if your faction, if you're a member of a faction, and you start shooting near a starport, does the starport start launching police ships at you, or does it just decide, well, you're part of the defense forces, and it will, if anything, just send ships to help you?
If they kill you, they end up getting a bad reputation, all that anyway.
I don't think that's true. I heard that it wasn't true if they control the system.
I find that hard to believe.
Well, like I said, they've FDev has been putting players in charge of systems, well, player groups in charge of systems lately. So,
well, yeah, you can make your own little group and take over
a star
system too if you really wanted to.
Yeah, but if I did that, I would expect not to have the space station shooting at me, right? If it's our station and we run the station and I'm flying close to it, I should be considered part of the defense forces. The station itself shouldn't launch any hostile shouldn't take any hostile action towards me. What the hell is it you're listening to? Like, Christ.
Babylon 5, yeah.
Yeah, it's babbling, alright. Oh, he just said he's gonna leave me alone now. Some of these players, they get pretty belligerent. Like, they'll threaten the hell out of you, and then... But I told him I was trying to do commerce here, and he's like, okay, I'll leave you alone then. They must take some...
It's probably a young kid.
Probably, and he probably realizes the value of money, at least, well enough to know that his faction doesn't really want him harassing people here on legitimate commercial missions. But I have no intention of hiding behind a starport. I would just launch out the thing, out the door, turbo my way to the no-fire zone, and then jump. And I don't think him and his friends could take my shields out before then. Even 8 Vipers haven't been able to do that. They certainly would.
My ship in there, I got more shields.
Yeah, I know.
People realize.
You could take their whole freaking contingent for at least a little while. I mean, eventually.
Take them off for a bit.
Yeah, I mean the station never runs out of ships. It will keep, as you blow ships up, it will keep trying to launch more ships against you.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not really interested in attacking the starport right now.
Well, it's a losing battle.
It is a losing battle. It's a losing battle even. Well, it's not a losing battle. You can win against a Farragut or a Majestic class, but you have to, you know, you can't blow them up. All you can do is take out all their heat, all their power and heat sinks. You take out all their power generators and heat sinks, then all they do is they just execute an emergency jump away from battle. So you defeat them, but they don't blow up. They remove their august presence from the battlefield.
Well, it's right, and to them it's wrong. Have you ever considered that? Have you?
That isn't completely accurate either, August. That refers to Augustus Caesar, who was otherwise known as Octavian, the first Roman emperor, nephew to Julius Caesar, adopted nephew to Julius Caesar.
And we are in the process of developing an underground communications net to Homeworld, so we can coordinate the drop, time, location.
What about the weapons?
The weapons have proven to be more expensive than we had anticipated. 500,000 credits for the initial shipment. I know it's a lot, but until we can find alternate resources, we must all sacrifice.
How do we know the weapons will reach now?
I have given my word.
It's not your word.
And Octavian did not leave battlefields behind. Both he and his uncle, Caesar, tended to stick around for the end of the battle, and usually won. And if they lost, well, then they probably died back in those days, so...
All communication has been cut off.
I guess things haven't changed much. If you lose a battle today, you're usually dead.
Why should we believe you can get weapons?
Perhaps more so today than in the past. I could cite Black Hawk Down as precedent. Although it wasn't much of a battle, there was only a helicopter and some soldiers.
Get word. You and the others accept my leadership. Yes. And if you can.
Come to think of it, when was the last battle that America actually lost? Like, even in the Vietnam War, America didn't lose battles. I mean, it lost the war, but not as a result of military confrontation.
You are a piece of the machine that uses the whole.
You know what? You probably have to go back to World War II in order to see the United States defeated on the battlefield. I could be wrong, but it's been a while anyway.
Yeah.
Hammer down. Bang, bang.
It certainly was defeated at Pearl Harbor, but that sort of doesn't count. Well, it does count. I mean, it doesn't. In terms of military strategy, it really doesn't matter if it was a surprise attack or not. In the eyes of history, the United States should have been ready for it.
Taking too much joy.
No. Okay, so now we're going to go back to Delta Pavonis. Computer, show me universal cartographics. There's only one system we've explored in that time frame.
And you have a destiny. Yes. No. Be a nice man, man. Be quiet. Admission automatically. You are hot. I can hold it here.
Is someone hurling light bolts again?
What?
Well, just the way it sounds on television, it sounded like someone was throwing a lightning bolt out their ass at someone.
He's using electricity to torture someone right now.
Well, that's not new.
I know it is much to ask, Captain, but my time is short and my resources few. To work from home wants the simplest convenience. Now the only hope I have is attaining control over my people.
Oh, we can make 10 times profit on our drugs that we are hauling around inside of our cargo bay. But no, we're not going to sell it here. I already smuggled it successfully into the starport. They're not aware I have drugs on my ship. They were too busy fighting off an anaconda and me.
I meant about using the Rangers for this job. It's about time they got ready. You can't just keep planning and watching forever. No chronic. He loses credibility. He has no idea of the local market.
That kid, or whoever it was that was in the Diamondback, said something about a diamond frog. Are you a diamond frog, he asked me.
Diamond Frog is a faction. It's a player faction. They have... I was reading about them. That faction is probably the first one to actually be in one system and take over another system and control two systems at once. They actually defeated another player group to take over the second system.
So what happened to the player group that they defeated?
They're pushed out. They lose control.
Right. So do they still have a presence in the system they were defeated in?
I don't know if they get pushed out of the system or if they just become one of the minor factions in that system. I didn't.
Yeah, normally they become one of the minors, if it's an NPC we're talking about.
Yeah.
But who wants to be a minor faction? You're not in control of the system then. Which means its leading star bases and the like are not yours to control anymore. So that means, well, okay, canon for its part, has been expanding elsewhere. They took over Weird Doc.
Yeah.
I think it's Word. One of the engineering... I was opposed to this.
Word has got an engineer there.
Yeah, and anyway, Candon moved in on them and took them over. And I was pissed off about it because I'm concerned that player groups can control engineers. And if they control the engineers, then they could just shoot the hell out of anyone who comes into the system. Potentially.
Well, I think the engineers have their own faction.
Yeah, they do.
They're the head of their faction.
Yeah, they do.
And I don't think they can actually take over the engineer. They can basically make it hard to get to the
Yeah, that's what
engineer.
that's what I'm referring to.
I don't see the game letting one group completely do something like that, because all of a sudden you get the rest of the player base saying, fine, fuck it, we quit. Well, they're going to lose an awful lot of money and everything else. I mean, for the game itself, it'd be a bad idea.
No, but they could even if they just make it more difficult to get to the engineer. Like if you have a system full of faction ships that's patrolling and looking for anyone who's not a member of the faction. In other words, if the faction closes the system down,
you'd probably end up finding that there'd be another big group of players or a couple of them together,
yeah,
and you'd end up with a player-on-player war.
Yeah,
which
that's
kind of interesting to watch happen.
That's what I'm thinking would more likely happen in this game. I don't think they'd quit. I think that it's more likely there'd be a
I guess all I would do if they got to the point that they didn't let people in at that engineer, fine. That engineer really isn't all that great in that system anyway.
No, that's only one engineer. But I mean, I'm talking about. I mean, this is why I think Cannon moved in there, is because no one's going to miss, you know, whoever's there. But if they moved in on Laxac, or if they take Dekiat or something like that, then it's a little bit more serious, right? Because Dekiat happens to be the home to Ramta. Ramta is like a key instrument in the game, and key in terms, in a way, it would make sense for Cannon to actually take an interest in Ramta, because they've been very active in xenomorphic research. That's sort of their whole thing, is like learning about aliens, right? That's why that group exists. Their website is devoted to only that subject. And I don't know how their fucking Eagle Eye technology works. Like, do you know how that happened?
Yeah, the Dweller is in Word. And he works on power distributors and pulse lasers. Well,
yeah, pulse lasers.
Farseer can also work on power distributors to a certain degree.
Yeah, who else does pulse lasers, though?
I don't know. I don't have all of them opened up, so I couldn't tell you.
I've got a good number. I've got most of them open now. More than half the engine.
I need classified scanned data banks for Ramta.
Yeah, well, you just have to work with Ramta a bit. We'll get there. It's not that hard.
Lane Jean, if I could get 10 units of painite to be able to hull reinforcement and armor is her main thing she works with.
Who's this?
Celine Jean.
Oh, yeah. She's one of the last ones you can get, eh?
I've got her long before a bunch of the other ones.
What did you need? Yeah, because if you did the Eurobia mission or whatever, you get invited by the Mafia, and then you can get access to her somehow. Okay, so I've got 2 jumps, and I'm back at Delta Pavonis, so we'll do that. Okay, launching ship. Now, Delta Pavonis, we should see our 45 supply back there again, and if that's true, cleared for egress. But I didn't know about this diamond frog business. That's interesting. So he was all worried I was expanding into their territory. But if I was part of Diamond Frog, it would say that I'm part of that faction on the ship display.
Well, if you're in no factions, I mean, it should be obvious.
Yeah, well, your ship is listed as being with a faction, isn't it? I think so.
Yeah, whenever they look at you, the little info tag that they get.
What are you doing?
I've actually seen a few of them from different player factions, and it'll tell you when you're scanning someone, it gives them all that information, that little window, and it tells you what faction they're in.
Yeah.
So.
I still want.
Apparently that guy was apparently an idiot and didn't know how to fucking read the information he gets.
No, apparently not. Accelerating through the starport's zone here, and the four players that were here have left for the time being. But they came and raided the station for rare goods, so I hate it when that happens. But I guess that's one of the things about the rare goods. They're so valuable at the lower levels that you get a bunch of these weaker ships that come along in clouds, and they'll take all the supplies they can get out of the starport. Basically, what they did there is there were 4 of them. They just milked it dry. There we go. 33 new objects in the system were discovered. And now we have to go to Hollow Point, where we have Hooper Relay. Here it is. Are you old enough to remember a Mr. Hooper on Sesame Street?
Ready to go. Mr. Sebastian.
Oh. Never really watched a lot of Sesame Street when I was little.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen enough of it, but I was never big on watching those shows.
Oh, I love The Martians. The phone would ring, they'd try answering the book. I just thought that was hilarious. Book! Anyway.
Only after the last string of murders.
There was this old guy named Mr. Hooper who used to be like a big star in the show. He ran the corner store that Ernie and Bert would visit all the time. And eventually he died in the late 1970s. So that would have put me at age 9. Of course, that's past Sesame Street age, but I remember hearing that he died. And I was like...
The world condemned me. Because I believed I was right and the world was wrong. I believed I was the divine messenger. I believed I was...
This Hooper Relay, I haven't thought of him again very much, but this Hooper Relay station makes me wonder if he wasn't named for Mr. Hooper of Sesame Street.
Well, it's very possible.
But after he died, of course, they wrote him right out of the story, right? So at no point again do you see... They took all the episodes with Mr. Hooper out pretty much right away, like within a year. And they had to redo a bunch of the Sesame Street episodes without Mr. Hooper putting in an appearance. Which they did. And then they kicked off the Muppets after that.
Permission authorized. Sit down on landing pad 10. Automated docking approved. You may now handle the control.
You in your holy cause, Captain Sheridan. Now your choices have better results than mine. Remember,
And I think we'll make it in before the scan finishes, and yes, we did. So my contraband... Oh wait, no, it's not contraband in this system. See, according to the Sagittarius magazine article, this system recently changed hands and became a dictatorship. So now all the illegal drugs are legal again.
Yeah, if you got a big enough player base, you can get whatever faction in that system in control of that system, and it'll change from a democracy to a dictatorship. I mean, one of them near Cubeo is even a monarchy, basically.
Well, yeah, no, there's
queen and royal family.
There's in the Empire, there's a lot, like Aisling Duval she's apparently got a throne, like a palace and everything. Like she's part of the Duval family, which means she's part of the Imperial Royal Family. So she gets a palace and a throne, and it's, I don't know which world it's on. I heard it reported which world it was on recently. I think it might have been even in Galnet.
Yeah, it's her home world, her home system.
Anyway, that's where she keeps her palace. It's not in Cubeo, I don't think. That's just where her headquarters is for her faction.
Yeah.
But that's basically a monarchy right there. So the Empire itself I found littered with monarchies.
Yeah. Because an empire is real similar to a monarchy. So.
Yeah. So there's lots. Yeah. I mean, you can have king of a world, but the king is still has to be loyal to the emperor and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's lots of that going on, and there's also democracies, so people on a planet can vote for their government if they want. And the Empire doesn't really care as long as it gets its dues from the system. I guess that must have been part of the appeal of the Empire, was that they just won't interfere with local government as long as the local government is loyal.
No.
And the Federation works much the same way, except that you get a seat on the Federation Assembly. I can't remember how... They said there's 560 some odd seats in the Federation Assembly. Did you take a look at that Visio diagram I did?
Yeah, I started looking at it, but it looks like you got a ways to go to finish filling in information.
Oh yeah, I've got there's quite a bit still to fill in, and you'll notice the Empire is notably absent from the diagram because it's very complicated how the Empire runs. When I was reading about it, I'm going, holy shit. How do you even like it's very complicated. Yes, there's an Imperial Royal Family, but you have things like Petraeus, who's head of the Imperial Navy. I mean, there's different aspects to... What's that?
Petraeus is an Imperial Senator.
Yeah, that's true. He's a senator.
The Empire still has a Senate.
Yeah, but the Senate can be voted on, like, there's different... What I didn't get a keen awareness of is how many seats there are in the Senate. And apparently that can change from time to time based on mergers between different factions within the Empire. So it's not...
I would imagine the Empire is based on a lot of family groups. If one family marries another family, well, that might be two factions turned into one or something. You never know.
And then they can have... Does that mean they get multiple Senate seats? Like, can one family have 5 Senate seats? Like, it's not completely clear to me yet around what structure the Senate is organized. There are a certain number of seats in the Senate, but who sits in them? And how does that work? I don't know. In fact, I may never be able to accurately depict the Senate. I'll just have to put like a blob on the page and say this is the Imperial Senate, and that's about as much detail as I can go into. The problem is that people like Petraeus and some of the other people in the Empire are senators, right? And so if you're a senator, you should be represented, in my view, on the diagram somewhere because you hold a position of power and influence. And the other thing is, how does the Senate get elected? Well, like you say, it's families appointing people, but some of them are democratically elected. That was documented. So some Senate seats you elect, others you don't. And
I think it's kind of like England. They've got their House of Commoners, then they've got the House of Lords.
Yeah, the House.
I think it's kind of something like that.
It's bicameral in both the United States Senate and House of Representatives, and in England, the equivalent of the Senate in England would be the House of Lords. But
yeah, but the House of Lords, they don't actually get voted; they get nominated into positions.
They get appointed by the Queen.
Oh, come on, motherfucker!
It's all done by appointment. So the Queen says you're a lord now. That's what happened to this guy, Lord Black, from Canada. He ended up serving time in an American jail because he ran media companies in the United States and then tried to get away with tax evasion. So you have Lord Black of... What was his seat now? I think it was Lord Black of Cross Harbor. There's no such place as Cross Harbor. That's the other thing. Like, it's just the name of his seat. Or if there is a Cross Harbor, it's like a street in Toronto or something. Oh, by the way, normally, just to complicate things more, you can't be appointed as a Canadian to the House of Lords unless you get a waiver from the Prime Minister, from the House of Commons here in Canada to allow it to happen. And that was written into the Constitution back in 1867. Apparently, alongside Canada's creation. So this old law basically governs whether or not you're allowed to, and this Lord Black that I'm talking about, he and Prime Minister Chrétien, at the time of his appointment, it was Jean Chrétien that was in charge, that was the Prime Minister of Canada. He used to sit in Pierre Elliott Trudeau's cabinet, but way back when Trudeau was in charge. Anyway, for whatever reason, Chrétien and Black did not get along with one another. And when Black applied to get this waiver from the Prime Minister, Chrétien, for the first time in Canadian history, used this old law to turn him down. So he had to renounce his. So Black had to renounce his Canadian citizenship in order to qualify to be a member of the British House of Lords. And you know what he did?
What's up?
He gave up his Canadian citizenship.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, that sounds kind of shitty, but whatever.
Well, it was vindictive, but I mean, given the choice, most Canadians, given the choice between being nominated to the House of Lords and surrendering their Canadian citizenship, would keep their citizenship. But Black wasn't. Black thought of himself as being something above all that, so he gave up his citizenship, figuring he could just get it back later again, I guess, when Kretchen wasn't in power. So officially right now, he's a British national that is serving time in an American jail, or was at least. I don't know if he's out now. Either way, he's persona non grata here in Canada, effectively, because everyone thinks of Black, regardless of how shitty it was. Black was caught red-handed, literally on his own security cam footage, taking boxes of files out of an office that proved his guilt. He was guilty of tax evasion in both Canada and the United States. And so he ended up getting, and that was presented in an American court where it would be legal. So, of course, that news footage got back here to Canada, and no one had very nice things to say about Lord Black anymore. So, anyway. There's the story of Lord Black of Cross Harbor. He's got his title now. I don't know what he's going to do with it. He doesn't really own anything anymore. He's got his original money, I guess, but I don't know what kind of lifestyle he can lead in England. Maybe an apartment somewhere.
Tried looking for it on my own, but Captain told me to lay out. What happened? Look, Captain, you music songs. You have to be out of your mind. Look at
But Black was a big deal in Canada's media empire. He used to own Global, I think it was. Global Media, which is a Canadian company that, well, certainly broadcasts in Toronto. It broadcasts elsewhere in Canada as well. Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Toronto. I think in Montreal, too.
Have you ever been to the witness office festival? Quite not. How the costumes of school is far behind.
If you were into Canadian politics a lot more, politics generally, I suppose, it would be kind of interesting. Shit, there is no supply of ear grubs here. So once you use a supply, how long does it take for the supply to replenish?
I do not know.
Here, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try something. I'm going to go into my main menu and then come back into the game because I want to see what happens. Don't worry, I don't think I'll disappear. But if I do, for some reason, disappear, you'll know why. Going to main menu. Unfortunately, although it doesn't cut off voice communications, it does cut off your wing to go back to the main menu. So now at the top of your screen, it should say leaving wing.
No. I'm not in a wing and I'm not leaving wing or anything, so.
Okay. No, actually, this won't come back. So, okay. Okay, well, that answers my question. Hang on, I'm just gonna re-wing you here.
Okay.
Yeah, that little blue icon means... Hang on. Oh, for God's sake, it won't let me... Hang on, there we go. Yeah, the little blue icon means I'm inviting you to the wing. Okay, so no more resources, so now I have to go to the other port. I'm not even sure which system it's in anymore. We're going to go back there now. For God's sake!